It is 7 o'clock on December 2nd, and we'll call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Gary,
Here.
Commissioner Baker,
Here.
Commissioner Bospis Rath,
Here.
Commissioner Collins,
Here.
Commissioner Miller,
Here.
Commissioner Talentino,
Here.
Commissioner Twardy.
Here.
And we're all here. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, and good evening, everybody. Number 4, mayor comments and general announcements. There are none. Item B, proclamations and recognitions, none. Item C, notice of public comment. At this time, any person may reserve time to speak on any agenda item not to exceed 3 minutes. I'll call for public comment at the time the agenda item is addressed from this list of individuals that reserve time to speak. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak on any of the agenda items?
I don't know if it's on the agenda, but I would like to make comment,
We,
or you have to be on the agenda.
if it's general comment, we do have a time at the end of the meeting under public comments, and you'd have up to 5 minutes to speak at that time. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, hearing none. Item D, the consent agenda. City Clerk.
Under the consent agenda, item 1, approval of the City Commission meeting minutes of November 18th, 2019. Item 2, from the Sault Ste. Marie Area Public Schools, request for city to collect the 2020 summer property taxes for the Sault Area Public Schools. Item 3, approval of partial release of utility easement at 639 West Spruce Street. Item 4, from the Chippewa County Treasurer, county tax foreclosures. And item 5 is approval of the consent agenda items as presented.
A short consent agenda tonight. Is there any commissioner that would like any of these items removed or explained more fully? Hearing none, Commissioner Twardy.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Roll call, please.
Mayor Gary,
Yes.
Commissioner Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Bospis Rath,
Yes.
Commissioner Collins,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Talentino,
Yes.
Commissioner Twardy.
Yes.
Motion passed. Thank you. Item E, special orders of business. There are none. Item F, communications. There are none. Item G, city manager's report. City manager.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple of items for the city commission tonight. Neither of them actually need any formal action tonight. They're just more of an FYI. The first one we're providing to you is the report that's required under the City Village Township Revenue Sharing Program. This program is formerly called the EVIP program. It was a program Governor Snyder put into place to track certain performance metrics within cities. It's an annual report. There's a lot of really good information in it. We've included that, or at least we've included the link to the reports for you. In that report, there's a citizen's guide that gets into depth about the revenues the city has, the expenditures, other hot topics about pensions. There's also a 3-year budget forecast model. Kind of looks out a few years to see where our revenues and our expenditures are going to be coming in, as well as a debt schedule. And that's a report that we have to provide to the state every year. Take a look at it when you get a chance. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. If there's no questions on that one, I'm going to try to make this a longer meeting for you guys. And then that kind of goes into the Save My City updates. The CVTRS report is a required report. If we don't get it, we don't get our state shared revenue funding. The Save My City updates is the MML report that's looked at the state shared revenue system in the last decade or so, and the fact that the state has been lowering those amounts to municipalities since then. A couple years ago, they did a report that looked at the shared revenue system since 2003 to 2017. They did it for all the communities. They did it over an annual basis, looking at the statutory and the constitutional shared revenue system. As you know, because you've been following along, the state has been diverting those funds to their own budget. The state, over that time period, has turned 10 million away from Sault Ste. Marie into their own budget. The MML did a new report with some consultants that just came out last week or 2 weeks ago, and it is a snapshot report that compares revenues within the state and at local levels from 2002 to specifically 2017. So it's not necessarily a trend, but it's a snapshot. Big picture wise for the state, all the revenues are down about 11.9%. Specifically for the city of Sault Ste. Marie, there's been a 44.7 decline, or 44.7% decline in shared revenue. It's about $1.5 million less that we're operating with, and total revenue is down about 5.64% between 2002 and 2017. That's roughly $800,000. So I'm providing this information to commission so that you guys are informed. Whenever you have an opportunity to talk about these reports to the public or our elected officials in Lansing, it's a good idea to have those numbers with you so you can really tell the story about the challenges that we've been going through and why we're having issues funding the sources funding the services that we traditionally have been able to offer. If there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to entertain those.
Thank you, City Manager. It's really staggering when you think about the amount of decline from 2003 to 2017. City of Sault Ste. Marie has lost out on $10 million worth of revenue, while at the same time we're trying to increase our services to the community and also make improvements to different areas of the community. So it really is unfair, and I think that there are some good points on legislative talking points on talking to our legislators and letting them know that this system is broken and it needs to be fixed and the money needs to go into the local municipalities. But questions or comments? It looked like Commissioner Twardy.
Yeah, more of just a comment. I know that since I've been elected, what we continuously talk to our state officials about is revenue sharing and the lack of revenue sharing. I guess I'm surprised that it continues to decline, especially with the MML really taking this program, Save My City, and highlighting it and doing all this additional work on it, that it hasn't done any difference at all. And so I'm just kind of wondering if because I know that you were part of the Save My City initially with organizing it. Oliver was, but I thought that you were part of it too. So what is the MML's approach then on trying to really kind of overcome this?
So it's multi-pronged. So we focus on educating the public. Everybody wants great cities, strong communities, and it takes money to do that. So there's a big push to educate the public. The public is the one that elects the representatives in Lansing, but the disconnect comes with the quick turnover of the electeds in Lansing. So just about the time that it takes for those people to get up to speed on the municipal revenue sharing system, they get voted out or they're tenured. So the MML, the lobbyists, the advocates downstate, they're constantly having to re-educate those new incoming legislators. And as you guys all know, it's a complicated thing and it takes some time to get up to speed. So just by the time that they get it, they're out the door and we have to start from square one again. So this is just another attempt to get some more information out in front of the public and our electeds. The MML has a core of ambassadors, I guess you can call them, that take this message out to different communities, educate the local elected officials, and then we meet very often with our elected officials in Lansing to present this case to them too. So the MML feels like they just gave us a board update. They feel like they're making a little bit of progress, but as you noticed, the revenue is still going down a little bit. So a little bit in progress isn't necessarily enough, so.
Just to kind of tag on to that, when you look at the revenues that were received in 2002, we received $3.2 million in change from the state. And then in 2017, we're getting right around 1.8 million. which is the 44.7% reduction. I guess my question to go along with Commissioner Torty is to see if really the efforts that we've been making with MML and the state representatives, is there a breakdown to show how much we're actually getting for each of those years? Because that's just a spread between 2002 and 2017.
Yeah, so there's two reports out there. The new one that's provided to you is the snapshot between the 2 years. Their initial report that came out probably about 2 years ago now shows that individual year breakdown and what we received and what we should have received based on the way the law is written. And I can send that to you guys in an email and get you that one.
And that would be through 2017 then?
Yep, yep. 'Cause
Okay.
a lot of this information is dependent on the reports that the cities send to Lansing. So it's a little bit aged, so it's usually about 2 years behind.
Do we know where we're gonna be basically next year as far as any estimates? Or where we're at this year?
This year's, they should be coming out if they're not out already.
I think 2018 would be coming out pretty soon, right?
Yeah, if they're not out already. I'm trying to think when that cycle all happens. I'll look into it and get you guys an email and an update on where all that stuff is. I can't think of it off the top of my head. If it's out now or if it's coming out soon. I think it should be coming out. Or it should be out. I think it should be out.
I think at budget time, we had seen that there is a slight incline, but certainly it's not keeping pace with where we should be.
And there's two sides of the equation. One has been increasing, and that's the constitutional payments, because that's based on sales tax. So as the economy has picked up, those distributions have gone out in a greater amount. But it's the statutory side that they have the ability to kind of play with, and that one keeps going down.
Thank you.
Keep in mind too that at the same, some of the same time period, then property values have decreased and our tax revenue has decreased because of the dark stores and some of the lawsuits that we've had there. So we've been getting hit. It's kind of a perfect storm. We've been getting hit at every angle, and then all of our costs are increasing. So I think the city of Sault Ste. Marie has done an excellent job in maintaining services and increasing services and investing in the community. And I think a lot of kudos goes to the managers and the finance directors. So been increasingly difficult, but hopefully things will get better as we go forward. So, any other questions, Commissioner
I
Collins?
was gonna say, and that's also without actually increasing any debt service.
Correct. Yeah, and we've maintained and actually improved our bond rating during the 14-year period that they're talking about. So, I think that bodes well for the Sioux. Any other questions or comments? Thank you for that report, City Manager. H is status reports, and there are none, so in record time, we are to matters presented by the public. And if you'd like to come up to the microphone and state your name for the record, and you'll have 5 minutes to talk, whoever would like to. And keep in mind that this is a public comment period, so there won't be any interaction with the commission or any discussion. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Mr. Sadler?
Rodney Sadler, and here on a matter that has been brought to many of the departments since June of 19, has been brought to the city commission. I'm asking and requesting, since the last motion made by the commission was to refer it back to the city for further consideration, I would ask that the commissioner give me consideration on providing any additional information at such time that it's made available by the city and to the commission so that I might be able to address it in a timely manner. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else in the audience? Do you know how to use the microphone?
It's actually on.
Okay.
It was just muted in the back. I turn it on when I come up, when I come here, so that, and Kelly's back there for me. So, anyway.
Bonnie Raphael, our IT
Oh, yeah,
director.
Bonnie Raphael. Sorry. I can't believe it's been almost 10 years now since Cal passed away in a distracted driving crash where she was the distracted driver. But this coming Friday, December 6th, we have our 5th annual, 5 years now, Put Your Phone on Ice KDR Challenge fundraiser. It's the Coast Guard versus the Sioux Eagles again. It helps me to go around to talk to schools and organizations throughout the state or throughout the country on distracted driving. So I'd appreciate it if people would come. It's $7, I believe, at the door. There's T-shirts for sale every year that has our logo that we developed, the Put Your Phone on Ice, and it has Coast Guard versus the Sioux Eagles on it. Third period, you can buy goals or penalties, and that's a hot topic with the Coast Guard. Coast Guard gives me more money on the family members, so to put goals on the boards or even the Coast Guard players in the box just to be funny. So distracted crashes are not just for the young anymore. When I started this organization 9 years ago, going around and talking about distracted driving, it was the teen drivers that were the ones that were at the highest risk. And it is still the most dangerous and the number one cause of death in young kids is distracted driving. And it doesn't just have to be the cell phone like with my daughter. It can be, eating, drowsy driving is a huge thing nowadays. It's really, gone rampant in that. But now the young kids are getting it. Statistics have shown that the young kids, since I've been doing this since 2011, their crash rates have declined. So the young kids are getting it. It's now the older people, the 25 to 35, 40-year-old people that the crash rates have increased. Yes. So I don't want to lecture you, but I just ask that you put your phone away when you drive. I gave you all that challenge in April. You're going to get the challenge again this coming April for Distracted Driving Week. But it's a fun time, and it's a way for me to earn money for the KDR Challenge so I can go out and educate people on distracted driving. So I'll be dropping her cell phone that she was actually using the day that she got in the crash instead of dropping a puck, and hence the Put Your Phone on Ice. So I ask you all to come and enjoy the fun and help support the KDR Challenge.
What are the
Questions?
dates again, Bonnie?
It's December 6th, this coming Friday at 7. Yep. Polar, I'm sorry. The Polar, of course.
So December 6th at the Puller
Yep.
at
7.
7 o'clock.
Yep. Thanks.
Good job. Anybody else in the audience have any comments? Okay, matters presented by the City Commission. I just wanted to make a couple of comments before we started in regard to, it was Beverly, correct? On October 7th, 2019, at our City Commission meeting, then Mayor Tony Bosphus had read some information that we were provided from the City of Sault Ste. Marie, City proper, and from the EDC, and I just would like to, I guess, read that again so we can refresh that. And this is a truncated version, but we got some information. We have requested information from them as we had heard about the project. And I think the meat and potatoes are, it says, moving forward, it's important to recognize the following. The project is subject to rigorous provincial and federal assessments and permitting processes. These processes will be lengthy and provide an opportunity for community input. The city and Sault Ste. Marie EDC have made it very clear to Noront that they will not support the construction of an FPF on Algoma's property if the city and Sault Ste. Marie EDC believes or has reason to believe that the operation will have an adverse effect on people's health, or if the city or Sault Ste. Marie EDC is not satisfied that the facility can operate safely. We have reached out, as far as the city administration, have reached out to Sault, Ontario, because they have had a few community input sessions. And Jeff Holt from our EDC is working on getting a community input session at Lake Superior State University here in Sault Ste. Marie, where the public will be invited, and the people from Noront and whoever's put on the sessions there will give input. And then subsequent to that, they will come and give a presentation to the city of Sault Ste. Marie City Commission. In addition, the city manager and I will be meeting after Wednesday's meeting with the mayor of Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, and this certainly will be one of the topics of discussion that we will talk about. And as to Mr. Sadler's information, I don't think we've had any information, further information from that, so maybe if we'd have the city manager reach out to you and discuss where he is, so. Okay, any commissioners? Commissioner Collins?
Just a note, when you first started to read that, that was a reference to Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. the
Correct.
City of Sault Ste. Marie,
Thank you,
Ontario.
yes.
And then the other thing is, oh geez, just lost it. Well, somebody else go. It'll come back.
Commissioner Torty?
I just wanted to mention Friday's Parade of Lights. I felt like Lindsay Ellis from the DDA, and of course Linda Hoth and Mariah from the EDC did, and Bonnie, our very own Bonnie Raphael from our IT department, did a fantastic job. The tree is beautiful. I felt like the parade went off without a hitch. I don't know who the winner of the parade float contest was. I didn't get that. But the Madrigal singers, everybody, I think this year it just was great. We had a great crowd. It wasn't raining, which was fantastic. But it was chilly, but it's still just a great opportunity to see people come out, and Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus looked fantastic.
Yeah, it was a great night, and the weather was perfect. We've been out in some horrendous weather, and I think that was one of the better ones. Commissioner Collins had a epiphany, I think.
I did, well, it actually came back, so, yeah. In reference to the statement that was made in the paper about the letter of support from Sault Ste. Marie, it was interpreted that it was Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. Have we got anything resolved in reference to that?
Thanks for that question.
So there was a letter that came from Sioux EDC on the Michigan side that was a very lightly worded, kind of in general support, but the NORANT group or whoever developed the website that I sent to you guys took it as the city of Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan full-heartedly stands behind this plan. So there was a misinterpretation about what the letter actually stood for. We're still reaching out to them to see if there's any other kind of formal communication that came through. But there was a little letter, like I said, it came from the Sioux EDC, but nothing formal from the commission or from our city as an organization, so.
Thanks for that question. Commissioner Baker?
Yeah, just to go off of Commissioner Torty, from Friday night, that was a great night, but then Small Business Saturday too, Lindsay Ellis and Allison and the DDA crew really did a phenomenal job with everything downtown on Saturday, and then coming up, since we won't meet till after, is the Christmas open house downtown, December 14th, so lots of great shopping and fun things and activities going on, especially in the Avery Center, so make sure you go down and check out all the holiday fun.
Good comments, thank you. Commissioner Bosphus-Rath.
Yeah, just real quick, I wanted to mention we do have the Madrigal this weekend, which is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I think the show starts at 7 on Friday and Saturday, and then it's different on Sunday. Can't remember the time, but
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. So that's also happening this weekend. It's a lot of fun. If you've never gone, you should. It's a great time, and it's all benefiting for hospice, so check it out.
Great comments, thanks. Any other questions, comments? Commissioner Twardy.
I move that we adjourn.
Support.
Been moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
This meeting's adjourned.